What thing was ruined because it turned into a rich person's hobby?
Regular camping. Our state parks are overrun by rich people in $100,000 plus rigs, constantly running generators and driving e-bikes like jerks. We have a growing problem with ghost camping in Australia. People with money will go to a site weeks ahead and leave a caravan there so they guarantee the spot when the next long weekend comes up. The parks introduced booking systems and raised rates to combat this, but the ghost campers don't care. They'll even book out multiple spots that sit empty. When I moved to Tasmania, I was pretty disappointed that you can't even put a tent up in many sites. They're exclusively for self-contained campers because that scene is afraid they might have to share a site with poor tent users. It's like nobody remembers what camping is all about. I love my swag setup. It's more true to the original Aussie camping spirit, but I'm running out of places to go. Burgers. Sloppy, greasy diner burgers wrapped in foil are so much better than this super tall, can't fit your mouth around gourmet stuff served on a plate with truffle fries. I blame Instagram for that more than rich people. Places started making burgers that would look good on social media because customers posting pics of their food is basically free promotion. It doesn't matter if the eating experience turns into a battle against your food. They just need to be photogenic. I'm convinced that the real rich person hobby is finding out what the average person enjoys doing and then pricing them out of that thing. I think this is accurate to some weird degree. Poor people cook, grow gardens, and do projects at the house. That's because they have to. It saves them money. Moderately wealthy people pay others to do that, but the rich are bored. They garden, cook, and do projects because it's a way to spend time, but they do it in a pretentious way, with the highest-end things and the most expensive stuff.
I used to work as the concierge IT guy for a billionaire and his family. You want to be rich so you can afford nice things and be free from financial stress and worry, which isn't rich, it's comfortable. They want to be rich because you are not, and they love that for you. They want you to have more not being rich, and they love the idea that regular people suffer in ways that they do not. I am convinced that people who want to be rich are psychopaths and should be institutionalized and treated. They are the cause of much of the suffering in the world.
When I saw The Count of Monte Cristo, I felt that one scene really summed it up. The rich kid got a pony for his birthday, the poor kid got a whistle. The rich kid couldn't be happy with his pony because he was too jealous of how happy the poor kid was with just a whistle. Trucks, they became luxury vehicles. People asked for more features and took the work out of them. They used to be tough, affordable, and practical. Now they are not. Going to gigs, the ticket prices now are horrendous compared to many years ago. Ticket agencies haven't helped either. I will never understand why tickets for aging rock bands way past their prime have tickets with a minimum price of around £100. Used clothes became sustainable fashion and suddenly cost 5 times the price. Collecting video games. I can remember when used games were very cheap in the 90s and early 2000s. For example, my mom purchased a copy of Final Fantasy VII at a yard sale for not even $5. Now, if my mom were to purchase the same game, it would cost an arm and a leg to say the least. Coffee shops. Used to be able to get coffee and a sweet treat fairly cheap. Hang out with friends for hours getting refills in the 90s at little mom and pop shops. Experiences in general. When I was a kid, buying things was expensive, but you could take your family to the movies for $25, or to a museum, theme park, or just about anything. Now, you can buy as much mass-produced plastic garbage as you want. But if you want to spend a day doing just about anything with your family, it's like you have to decide which utility to risk getting shut off. A single adult ticket at my local AMC theater is $25 now. This has happened so quickly as well. When I was at uni, like 10 years ago, there were cheap events and gigs. Even some things like beer or wine festivals were free because they recouped the cost on the sale of the product. Now, food and drink at these events are more expensive than just going to a pub, and the tickets are like half a day's wages on top. I grew up dirt poor, still am, and I promise going out has always been expensive. I never went to Disneyland, never traveled anywhere for a family vacation, never went to a concert. Never even went to Chuck E. Cheese because it was out of our price range. Our entertainment options were movies once a month and the public pool. I think what happened is a lot of people grew up with more expendable income than they realized, and now that expendable income is gone. It's not that entertainment prices have skyrocketed, it's that people are in lower income brackets now. Welcome to the slums, kids. You get used to things down here. Reading. Used to be able to pick up a brand new paperback for $4.99. Used ones were 50 cents or $1. In the before times, Kindle books were even cheaper because they didn't have to print the books on paper. Now, I recently paid $25 for the last book in a series one was reading, on a Kindle, for a book that had been out for 15 years. What the hell? Yes, libraries are a thing, but they don't always have what I'm looking for, or it's been checked out for 6 months, or there are a grand total of 25 books on their free app. ZLibrary and LibGen are your friends. If it's been published, there is a 90% chance you'll be able to find the ebook on one of those sites. The other one I frequent is Anna's Archive. Between those three, I've found virtually every book I've ever looked for free.
Skiing. It was never cheap, but $300 plus for a daily lift ticket is insane. Not to mention the cost of food, hotels near resorts, and so on. If you're not upper middle class or higher, it's a real stretch. I used to be able to afford to go skiing multiple days a week and go on 2-3 day ski trips a year when I was delivering pizzas in college. You could get midweek ski and stay packages and spend around $300, and that's including gas money plus drinks at a resort bar. Now you can't even get lodging for close to that amount.
Flying, specifically being a private pilot. It used to be feasible to buy, hangar, and operate a 4-seat airplane for a little more than a fancy car, as some call it the Cadillac Index. In the 1960s, a brand new Cessna 182 was a 1 Cadillac airplane. Now that same airplane costs 10 Cadillacs. Unless you build it yourself, there are no new airplanes available for under $500,000. Hangar rent where I live is pushing $1,000 a month, and aviation gas is over $7 a gallon. Then the FBO, also known as the airplane gas station, decides to tack on minimum fuel spending fees, common area maintenance fees, and many small airports have onerous landing fees. It's like everyone in the business has decided that anybody with a pilot's license just has money to burn.
Owning a home. People thought they could collect that like Pokemon cards.
It's not even just that. It's also once people buy a home, they put up law after law after law, making it impossible to build more homes because it ruins the neighborhood's character, or there's not enough parking, because homes must always be an appreciating asset. And the basic law of economics is that prices rise when demand is greater than supply. The city I live in and the surrounding area has historically low occupancy rates. The state has been desperately trying to strong-arm neighborhoods into building more, and it's still impossible to fight the NIMBYs.
I just met the owner of a large property development company. I bought my house from him. He told me he lost a lot of money on that sale. I told him I was a former homeless teen, and after saving 18 years for a deposit, it was the only place I could afford. The property jumped in value $100,000 within a few months of me buying. I know what an insane unicorn of a property I got, but the rich dude wanted to be snide. I'm sure as hell going to trauma dump in response. He should be happy his loss helped someone way more disadvantaged than him to get some security in life.
Van life. Edit. I've enjoyed all the discussion here. For context, when I commented, I was actually annoyed at my partner because he is outfitting an old van we worked hard enough to finally be able to save for, find, and afford, and all his rich friends were telling him all of this stuff he needed to add, out of our budget, of course. I once lived in a truck for 6 months with only a thermarest, sleeping bag, and a whisper light. So all of these must-have additions his wealthy friends are telling him we need, I think, are kind of dumb and just unnecessary ways to waste money.
Everything. Rich bastards would monetize shitting if they could.
DeLoreans. There's no way they're worth the $90,000 that people are asking for them. I think I paid $9,000 for mine. They were terrible cars even at that price. You should sell yours for $90,000 and put that in the stock market. I'm sure the DeLorean bubble is close to bursting. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.